Joining me now, Sheriff of Cochise County, Arizona, Mark Dannels. Good evening, Sheriff.
Thanks for having me, Judge. Good evening.
Good. What was your reaction when you got the letter?
Well, I didn't know it was even coming. I opened my email yesterday, and there's an attachment from Department of Homeland Security and the letter from Secretary Mayorkas saying it was an honor to address us. And within that letter was my dismissal. They're redoing a plan. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if they know what the plan is, but it was shocking and it was disappointing because there's no better time to have a Homeland Security Advisory Council right now as our border is in a state of crisis and chaos to have these members working with our secretary.
Well, and of course, as we said last week on the show, you are the sheriff of Cochise County. And how big is the border between Cochise and Mexico, the international border?
We have 83 miles of international border, and our county is just under 6,300 square miles, 38th largest landmass county in the country. But, Judge, if I could add on to that, too, is my appointment for the Homeland Security was approved by the National Sheriff Association. So the 3,000 sheriffs came together and said, hey, that we're there and said, we want Sheriff Dannels to be our voice for sheriffs. That was just cut and removed with an email.
But, you know, my point in asking the mileage of the international border is you are law enforcement at the biggest border in the Southwest, 83 miles of border with Mexico. And they tell you, we don't need you anymore. Who are they going to replace you with?
We don't know. Nobody saw this coming, Judge. And again, it goes back to this. I keep calling it the dominoes falling for prevention, enforcement, advisory. It's like our voice does not matter when it comes to communities. I live this, I breathe it. I've been living on this border for 37, 40 years, right in that area. I served in the military down here at Fort Huachuca and now serving as a sheriff and a deputy for the last 37 years. So it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating.
All right. Well, it is frustrating. And what I'd love to see is the replacement. And hopefully it's not all about politics. But I want to talk about children being trafficked. Last week, you talked about modern day slavery. What did you mean by that, Sheriff? What's going on at the border?
Well, this is a big conversation. Sheriffs, our government we've had with Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security, and also CBP in regards that this message right now that the kids are coming up. In 2019, we had 76,000 kids come to our southwest border. In the last 2 months, we've had 30,000 kids. Judge, it is no secret on the southwest border that these kids make this dangerous journey from their countries. In 2019, the majority of the teenagers and girls that we dealt with all had some form of birth control because they knew they'd be sexually assaulted. The cartel is in charge of this. They are servant to the cartels. Some people die. In my county, my region, my county alone, Judge, in 2020, we had 181 people, John and Jane Does, die in my deserts and my adjoining deserts around me that we still don't know who they are, that we were the consulate. This is a dangerous journey to get up here, and the cartels are touching these kids in a way that's why I call it modern day slavery. I call it just inhumane, which is a big thing for sheriffs on the southwest border in this country.
Well, Sheriff, you know, on day one, when President Biden canceled those contracts on the border, did they impact you with the stoppage of the building of the wall?
Yes, they did, Judge. It didn't just stop the physical barrier. They also stopped technology. They stopped revenue. They stopped resources. I just heard the other day that the funding that supports this technological advances on our border, which so many wanted that, has been stopped for 2022. When you see all these programs eroding on our southern border, and there has to be a message. We have to protect America and the citizens within. I care about people. Judge, I've worked with you for many interviews. We've talked many times. You're a passionate person. That's where your frustration and my frustration come from, because we care for people, we care for the rule of law, and we definitely care for children, and I know you do too.
All right. Sheriff Mark Dannels, thanks so much for being with us.